The monster Duke mistook me for his wife. After a year possessed as an extra, I picked up the dying mastermind. But this man seems to have amnesia. What kind of relationship were we? And a strange misunderstanding. Whenever I see you my heart beats violently, my head hurts like it's going to break, and I feel dizzy. That's... What is it if it is not love? That's not love, it's because I smashed the back of your head. Dillian's misunderstanding started then grew out of control. If we're not lovers, we're a married couple. That's not it. I will take care of it, I will pay you for the rest of my life. So wife, you must not leave my side. His touch reached my foot. Slowly and smoothly his hand climbed up, wrapped around my ankle. As if, it's like I got shackled. Lee, what if I leave? You will kill me. How can I do that? He responded lightly with a smiling voice. I'm going to kill the man who took you. I think I got caught by the wrong one. Genre: comedy, fantasy, romance. 0. Prologue. Life is a series of crossroads. Why does that word come to mind now? I swallowed a dry saliva when I saw a pool of blood that dyed the white snowfield red. There was no color on the white face in contrast to the red blood. Rhea, he needs to get treatment quickly. His condition is not that good. Nathan, the owl who was hanging on my shoulder, told me about the condition of the man. With that serious though, I bit my lips hard. So by putting Nathan's words together, he was destined to die soon. Messy posture, intermittent shallow breathing, and constant red blood flowing from his abdomen. The man was no different from the return note. Situation when a person who is very old or ill and becomes like a dead person. Leah, it won't take long with your power. Nathan is right. I, who have the mysterious power to heal people, can definitely save that man. But, why does it have to be that man? Even in that bloody state, I noticed at once who he was. I couldn't help but know. Black thorns that start from the heart to the neck. This was a sign of the curse. And the only one who has this curse. Who has the power equivalent to the imperial authority. The young owner of the Duchy of Sinise. Dillian Sinise. The cold-blooded man with no blood or tears, he, the mastermind of this story. Calling other people is. It's an hour at the longest. Can't stand until then. I frowned at Nathan's time-limited sentence. This is the entrance of the forest, the place where I have discovered Dillian, and it takes an hour to go to the village by foot. As Nathan said, he couldn't last long. In the end, is this the only way? He is said to be a dangerous man, but I can't abandon a person who is soon to be dying. But what if my healing ability got caught? What if the temple recognizes me? What if I got caught again? Anxiety stretched from tail to tail. Rhea. Got it. If life is a series of choices, all my choices today have already failed. Herbs gathering, leaving work early, both. What leaving work early? While taking a shortcut, I ran into Dillian who became a return note. Heavy breath scattered in the air. In the meantime, Dillian's body temperature was falling at a rapid pace. Now, it was time to decide. Nathan, can you bring the cart? I'll be right back. As expected, we can't leave him like this. Just treat the fatal state moderately, then send him to the temple by wagon. Whether the conscious Dillian turns the temple upside down or not, it's none of my business after that. Let's do this. I can do it. As if responding to my cheer, his eyelids trembled. Are you awake? Red eyes, whose depth was unknown, stared at me. Please calm down. I'm not hurting you. I will heal your wound. I slowly reaching out my hand to stabilize the beast. Tuke. My wrist was caught. The eyes that shone like rubies bent slowly. At the time I was putting on a bewitching eye smile. Strong power pulled me, and soon after, my vision was reversed. It was an incredible power to believe that he was in the state just about to run out of breath. Ugh. My back hurts when I hit the hard frozen ground. And I frowned at the numb pain. Dillian, who climbed up on my waist, looked at me and folded his drowsy eyes. He breathes while putting on a seductive smile that can captivate people. This is dangerous. With that excessively dangerous face, I chewed my lips. Then Dillian's gaze turned into my lips. After looking at my lips for a long time, he smiled while bowing down his upper body as it was. Approaching closer, his hair tickles my cheeks, a hot breath scattered on my face. What's wrong with this person suddenly? I carefully pushed his shoulder. Sorry, I think we are too close. First, back down a bit. Unfinished words are scattered in the air. Wiggle. A black shadow crawled up on the man's cheek like a snake. As I moved my eyes along the thorns that stretched to the edge of his eyes, I was entangled by the drug-drunken-looking eyes. I can't believe it. A subtle touch on the cheek was sending a clear signal. So, if all of these symptoms are to be put together, this is a runaway. When I thought that far, I twisted his body like crazy. Hey, Dillian. Wake up. I say wake up. Hey. Dang, he spilled too much blood. There is only one way to quell Dillian's runaway. To take the life in front of him. It doesn't mean sexually, it literally means taking away life. In short, currently I am, as it said, appetizing for Dillian's meal. Dillian. I'm tastes bad. I'm tasted like 100% organic cabbage juice flavor. You didn't know how bad it tastes? It tastes like mop-washed water. I shouted loudly, and it just stimulated Dillian. By exposing my desire frankly, I forgot about the emergency, and just opened my mouth foolishly. This crazy man, why do you like it more? Do you want to eat that bad? Dillian didn't miss the moment when I was surprised and just rushed frighteningly. Being drawn by blood, instinct, like a hungry beast. I'm going to die if I stay like this. I shouted desperately while pushing Dillian face away. Nathan. Save me. I'm going to be eaten. I've never seen such a shameless man like this. Get away from Rhea right now. Nathan, who flew quickly to my scream, pulled out Dillian's hair by its sharp claws. The owl's little gesture was just a ticklish feeling for Dillian. But it was enough to create a very small gap. I pushed Dillian's face with one hand, stuttered with the other hand and stretched it to the ground. Something hard touched my fingertips. Even before I recognized what it was, I grabbed it and slapped it on Dillian's head. Bark. With dull noise. Srack. Dillian fell over me. After quickly pushing Dillian away, I moved my body. Tuke, a big stone fell from my hand. A heavy silence fell. Rhea. SSHHH, don't say anything. Dillian Sinise. A cursed monster Duke, this novel's mastermind. The source of destruction. A man who can be called the strongest. And I just hit the villain's head with a big stone. Dang, I just coolly put a dead flag. Chapter 1. Reincarnated as an extra. But just got a dead flag. From where did it go wrong? By taking a shortcut, leaving other numerous paths? Have no choice but to heal Dillian? Or by bringing him to my house? No, that's all, number. It's already wrong since I opened my eyes in this troubled world. I looked at the pretty guy lying straight on the bed with watery eyes. It was such a breathtakingly beautiful face. The black hair covering the forehead is as soft as silk, and the skin as clear as smooth pottery. A tall nose and straight lips, with a sharp jawline. It was like a sculpture made by God. The word beautiful is not enough to express his face, but I can't like him by knowing his identity. I brought home the mastermind by hand. I must be crazy. The process of bringing Dillian from the forest was not easy. As the sun set, snowstorms hit, and it was too far from the temple. I have no choice but to bring him into the house. While grabbing my forehead I opened my mouth to Nathan. Nathan, you will save me when I'm in danger, right? You said you are my guardian. Of course. I will protect you. But, with a different image from my usual self, Nathan asked worriedly. Do you know him? Did something happen to you with that guy? We don't know each other personally. It's just that I knew him. Is he dangerous? Yup. A very dangerous guy. and I hit this scary man in the back of the head with a stone. As hard as he is loses consciousness. When Dillian wakes up, I who dares to hit his head in the back, may lost neck. Cold sweat dripped down from my back. Nathan. Shall we run away? I can't kick out Dillian, so the only choice left is for me to go. The treatment is done, so my work is finished. As I said, I don't have to take care of the mess. In this weather? Crying. The fierce snowflakes knocked as if it were breaking the windows. Rhea, you're going to freeze to death. But Nathan. With this man alone. I'm likely can't sleep because of nervous. Isn't his face your type of face? That face? It's not though. It's not my type. By pretending not to know, Nathan's eyes become cold. Rhea. All the guys you said were handsome are looking like that. Tsk. Don't worry. No matter how beastly he is likely not gonna harm his benefactor. Yes. As Nathan said. He is likely won't kill his lifesaver. With that thought, I covered Dillian with my favorite blanket. What contradiction is this? While you say hating it with your whole body, Nathan muttered, but I couldn't hear it. As I come out to the living room, I kneel and put my hands together. Praying to God who I usually didn't even look for. Please, I hope Dillian forgot about all of this. I prayed and prayed for a long night. Without knowing what the prayer would bring. Chapter 2. By usual, being a possessor, I died and was reborn into the world of the book. My cause of death was cerebral hemorrhage. I stepped on the soap in the bathroom, I slipped and got hit on the head, just like that I said goodbye to the world. Life is. I was unlucky, and until the moment I died, I was still unlucky. And misfortune has followed me until this life. My first misfortune was to open my eyes to the world of the novel, Saint Aina. The novel, Saint Aina, begins with a woman appearing in an era of chaos, a world disturbed by evil. That woman named Aina, a saint who inherited the power of God. And there are 3 male lead characters who are protecting her side. The crown prince who will become a holy army in the future, Cassis. The youngest and genius owner of the magic tower, Schumann. Aina's old childhood friend and the vice leader of the Holy Knight, Fabian. Saint Aina gets the love and loved by the 3 men, and protecting the world from evil was a romantic fantasy novel. So, up until here it is such a happy story. Anyone can tell it is a happy ending, right? Who says it's a misfortune? The bright and warm atmosphere changes rapidly as the story reaches the second half. The enemy who became strong tested Aina and destroyed the world, so Aina sacrificed her life for the world she loves. It was a noble sacrifice. But that wasn't the point. If the main character is dead, then the rest of the people wouldn't be safe. All dead. Main character, supporting character, even extra. You and me, everybody, is the Jordan River ending. It is said as a river that is crossed after death. So, the person who crosses Jordan River is death person. Do you get it now? This novel is the worst for possessing. And as if to prove it, I possessed an extra who got the Jordan River free pass. My name is Rhea Delice. An apprentice priest for the temple of Nathaniel in charge of the south of Rohirrim Empire. I, whose name wasn't even mentioned in the original story, by the time will become dust and disappear, right? Should I feel fortunate possessing before the original story begins? As I have time to mess up the story. And for a while, with that bitterness story, I frowned at the sight I had seen through the window. A priest was given a big pocket of money by someone who looked like a noble. Oh, again, isn't he taking the bribe again? I opened my eyes wide to the scene of corruption that takes place in front of me. It's rotten. This temple has rotten from the roots. Corruption, sexual harassment, assault. In the era of chaos, when everything was in a mess, the first thing that collapsed was the temple. Let's run away. There's no answer here. Oh, you can just quit the priesthood. Why run away? I thought that would work. Until it gets rejected. I had more divine power than others, because of that no matter how much my divine power was getting used, there was no limit for that. Knowing this speciality, the temple can never let me go. Like killing the goose that lays the golden eggs. The divine powers can be picked out, just by the touch. To get rid of something that is profitable to you. As human greed is endless. They will likely cut my belly someday. Looking for a chance to escape, I ran away at the time when the moon was covered by the clouds. Quietly and secretly along the path that I have memorized in advance. By avoiding others' eyes, I quietly opened the safe door where the rare things were collected. Originally it was a place with thorough security, but as it is a rotten temple, the security was poor. If it is going to be like this, I will succeed easily. As soon as I think like that, things happen. The holy object that I accidentally touched plummeted to the floor. I quickly threw myself and managed to receive the holy object, but it was already blown up. With a bright light, a holy creature awakened and flew up with all its might. "It is nice to meet you. My name is Nathan. Are you the one who woke me up?" A divine creature who introduced itself as Nathan is in the form of an owl. The one and only divine creature in the temple of Nathaniel. I'm screwed, I totally touched the wrong thing. The extra woke up the divine creature? With my N years of fan experience, I feel the strong hunch. Romantic fantasy. I feel anxious that the extra might get the role more than the extra. The temple that was rotten from the roots had poor security, so the night escaping plan is still under control. Contractor, where are you going in such a hurry? The problem is, the divine creature who is following me. Nathan, who introduced himself as the guardian of Ria Delis, hanging on my shoulder and didn't leave me. For the reason, since I woke it up, I'll be its owner and take responsibility for it. For an extra who is not even the main character, I couldn't understand why there was a guardian. But first of all, this thing that is in front of my eyes must come first. Can't believe it, I unintentionally become a divine creature kidnapper. I really freaked out. If I go back now and return the divine creature, I would avoid being a criminal, but there was a high possibility that I would never come out from the temple again. Yeah, let's just live as criminals. I turned my back without regret. One life is enough to live being used like a pushover. In this life I will live as I please. I'm going to be faithful to my desires and live freely. Let's show the dirty desires hidden inside of me. Sacrificing, senses of duty, senses of justice? All, get lost. I'll just live without any hardships. For that, divine power shouldn't be used. And Nathan's existence can't be discovered. After much consideration, I settled in Wilhelm, a village at the end of the border with Nathan. So we can run away across the border at any time. If it goes as planned, we will be able to leave the Empire before the original story begins. While I was thinking about the next escape plan, at that time, the second misfortune has come. The misfortune name is Dillian Sinise. With an angel-like face but not that good personality, the mastermind. Ria, let's just sleep. I looked up at Nathan's words. My neck, which has been bent for a long time, was stiff and my legs were numb. With that, God will listen to your prayers. I hope so. Now I have no choice but to leave it to heaven. I led my throbbing body to the room where Dillian is asleep. There's no one as innocent as a lamb, I murmured while looking at his smooth face. I didn't know if the divine power would work. When I remembered the situation at the time, my eyes frowned. Dillian fainted after being attacked by me, but the curse never stopped. The curse which I thought would stop, ran wild, and eat up the life around him. If I leave him like this, I will likely be eaten too, such a thought passed by at the moment. What the curse wants is a life force. And divine power is a kind of life force. By deciding to gamble with my life, I held Dillian's hand and transferred my divine power. Fortunately my choices were right. The curse which absorbed my divine power to the fullest, soon became stable. If I knew I had been able to calm him down with my divine power, I would have treated him immediately. If I had, this terrible situation wouldn't happen. Ria, don't stay too close to this guy, said Nathan with a scary face while looking down at Dillian. What curse is this, do you know it? An ancient curse. A very old curse. Nathan seems to know well about this curse. An ancient curse? How long has it been? Likely 1,000 years old. 1,000 years. 1,000 years curse. It is difficult even for 100 years curse. But what does it mean to be 1,000 years curse? This is why, even Aina can't solve the curse either. No matter how saintly a saint was, it must have been difficult to solve 1,000 years old curse. Nathan. Can the curse be lifted? There's nothing. Usually this kind of curse has a clear condition. This is not something L can do. As expected, I need to leave the Empire ASAP. This guy seems empty on the inside. With this emptiness, he keeps on wanting something. Nathan tapped Dillian's chest with its wings. He is a man who is not good to get close. Let's send him home as soon as he wakes up. As Nathan said, Dillian was cursed from the moment he was born. Why, for what reason he was cursed, no one knows. The traces of the curse with black thorns embedded in the chest. As the thorns grow bigger, Dillian will slowly feel more hungry. With a hungry stomach. So, the stomach needs to be filled. Not like us who eat food when hungry, Dillian eats life force when he feels hungry. The problem is, he doesn't know what is in the middle. As a child, Dillian didn't know how to control the curse and just ate up the life of what was alive. Plants, beasts, humans, everything. When he was able to control his curse, he had already eaten his parents. I almost got eaten like that too. My face got heated up when I thought of the moment Dillian who was approaching me with a drowsy face. Nathan freaked out, flew in, and knocked me on the cheek. No. Just because he is a handsome guy you like so much, absolutely not. What the? It's true that he is handsome. But to be attracted to the one who tried to kill me is. But yeah, he is still really handsome. If I just leave to look at the face, it was my perfect ideal type. With just looking at the face. By separating the body and the head, in the blink of an eye, you will see a miracle. The sleeping face looks like an angel, but the flesh was a fierce beast. Bang. On the small noise, my consciousness which became distant, gradually rose to the surface. Since when did I fall asleep? Is it because I used too much divine power? I fell asleep in the chair while looking at Dillian. I released a small noise as I stretched my body, swallowing breath when I encountered those red eyes. Ugh! I almost screamed. The protagonist of the gaze is Dillian, who tried to eat me up last night. When did he wake up? Eyes whose depth was unknown slowly swept my face. By his persistent gaze, my saliva became dried. Dillian just looked at me silently. Please say something. And the suffocating time continued. At the moment, I felt like I was going to die. Then Dillian's red lips gradually opened. Who are you? That's. Where is this? Dillian's voice became frighteningly low. Who am I? A light of confusion came from Dillian's eyes. Chapter 3. What? What did I hear? Surprised, I asked back before I knew it. I asked who I am. Don't you remember? Dillian frowned as if he had a headache. Yeah. Really? I don't remember anything. Who I am. What kind of person I am. Even my name. So now. He lost his memory? You're not teasing me, aren't you? Having my eyes widened and mouth opened, I hurriedly covered my mouth. Sorry. Wait a minute. My voice trembled. My fast-beating heartbeat kept me breathing heavily. He lost his memory because I hit him in the head, right? I'm sure of it. Looking at the innocent eyes that knew nothing, I feel a sense of guilt. How shocked he must be to lose his memory. I bowed my head quickly. You all right? Yes, I am all right. I replied with a trembling voice. While feeling sorry for him, I felt a deep sense of relief. Even if the sky collapses, there's a hole to survive, it really is. I put both of my hands on my face. My prayers come true. I wasn't begging to erase all of his memories, but I was glad to find a hole for me to keep alive. Oh my. I like it. I've been doing that for a long time. I didn't even know that the Duke, who lost his memory, had a strange misunderstanding at the time. It was Dillian who woke me up from my deep thoughts. "Hey, is it okay?" "Ah, I am sorry. I was so surprised." After capturing my slightly twitching lips, I asked him carefully. "Don't you really remember how we met?" "Yeah. I see." I clenched my fist as hard as I could. Crap, I think I'm going to cry. How hard it was for me after hitting Dillian in the head. Senses of relief touched the tip of my nose. I don't have to worry about dying for now. So, what's left is to open my mouth to tell him and send out Dillian from this house. Wait, but why is he looking at me with such eyes? I frowned not to be obvious at Dillian's gaze that touched my cheeks. I couldn't express it accurately, but it's like a gaze as he was looking at a child abandoned on the water. "Are you really okay? Or a puppy that has lost its owner? What's this, am I treated like a kind of a little dog?" Dillian, who was staring at me, reached his hand out. Surprised by a large hand with the size of a pot lid headed to me, I closed my eyes reflexively. Some time after, something touched my eye. It was hard, rough, and warm. I opened my eyes that were closed by the surprises. And I could see Dillian's face was closer than before. While freaked out by his behavior of caressing my eye with his index finger, he didn't stop there, and continued to surprise me. "Oh, you didn't cry." "What?" "Ah, never mind." I slipped back and escaped from Dillian's hand. What's wrong with a person who is obsessed to hate a physical contact with another person? "Ah. Is it because he lost his memory?" "Probably it is. That was too sudden. My heart is still beating so fast. I don't know if it's because Dillian is scary or because of the eyes on his pretty face, but my heart almost popped out of my mouth. I was just surprised for a moment. Yes, that's why. It hasn't been that long since I woke up, so my voice sounds particularly heavy. Dillian becomes silent. I didn't mean for him to respond to my words, but the way he looked down to his hand was somewhat strange. At the sudden change of the strange atmosphere, I took a hint by looking at Dillian's eyes carefully, then opened my mouth. "Are you feeling uncomfortable?" As Dillian gaze turned to me, he asked. "Who are you? Who are you to stay by my side?" When I tried to explain the fact that I was a savior who saved your life, at that time, Nathan, who was sleeping, woke up. "What do you mean who she is?" "She is the one who saved your life." "Nathan. How can you speak? You promised not to open your mouth in front of others to me." I hurriedly covered Nathan's mouth, but the angry Nathan shook my hand. "You didn't know how much Arya suffered to save you." "Yeah, I have suffered. I brought Dillian to my house, so my overused body still feels tired. Nathan is busy taking my side while flapping its wings. But how can you completely forget about Arya? How I've seen such a guy. Nathan, if you talk like that, it could be seen that Dillian and I are having a deep relationship." "Nathan, stop it. He's still a patient." After I dissuaded, while still can't relieve its anger, Nathan shot a fierce gaze at Dillian. And Dillian, who received that gaze, found it interesting. Seeing his red eyes, what came to mind is obvious interest and curiosity. An owl who talks. I'm not an ordinary owl, I'm Rhea's guardian. You're raising something interesting. Looking at the angry Nathan, Dillian didn't even blink. "So, who are you?" It is not a suspicious thought. Unlike before, an interesting question came back. "It's late, but I will introduce myself to you. I am Rhea Delice. I am not a great person, just an ordinary herbalist. And sir's name is..." Trying to tell his name without thinking, I paused for a while. It will be complicated if I tell his last name, right? "It is Dillian. You informed me before you lost consciousness." Such a perfect alibi. After Dillian learned his name, he muttered his name several times, with the expectation that doing so would bring back memories. But nothing comes to his mind as his expression becomes darker and darker as time goes by. "This is Nathan. My guardian and precious family." I only give a simple explanation, because I can't reveal that it is a divine creature. Contrary to my worries, Dillian didn't pay any more attention to Nathan. It was none other than me who took his attention. Did we know each other? Number. We have never met before. Such controversial words. I absolutely didn't want to be acquainted with Dillian. I brought Sir Dillian, who is bleeding in the forest. In short words, you're my patient, I'm your savior. Dillian's face, who understood the meaning at once, cracked. With the face which says while looking at me, he swept down his face with a heavy sigh. Without knowing, I made a disrespectful comment. What? Disrespect? Nathan nodded, satisfied with his words without knowing me, who was hardened like a stone. Fortunately, it looked like he was a man who knew his place. Shut up. Nathan. That's not the problem now. That Dillian Sinise. He used honorifics on me. He says sorry. Dillian, who I thought would be arrogant, surprisingly has common sense. Is it because he is in the state of losing memory? He didn't seem to be the vicious duke I knew. But I can't be happy. Dillian's apologize. I don't want to hear that. Dillian, who regained his memory later on. You dare to fool me? You must want to die, trying to kill me and shamelessly receiving my apology. Might say that while trying to kill me. I hurriedly waved my hand. It is not. You must be shocked that you lost your memory. I can understand that. I am sorry about that. However, Dillian, who was unnecessarily polite, bowed his head and apologized. I beg you. Please don't be sorry. After contemplating, the blank me grabbed his cheek and lifted it up. Dillian's eyes grow bigger as he is looking at me, perhaps surprised by the sudden grab on his cheek. I made eye contact with Dillian's shaking eyes, and said it again. I don't want to hear your apologies. I beg you. Please. With my request eagerly, Dillian nodded slowly. Yes, I will. So, now could you let go of my cheeks, please? Ouch. I let go of my hands in surprise at the warmth felt in my palm. What did I do? Surprised, I was confused and pulled my body backwards. I'm sorry. You feel hungry, right? I will prepare the meal quickly. By squeezing out an excuse to leave the room, I quickly turned my back. I was going to go out straight to the kitchen. If only Dillian's voice hadn't caught my ankle. Can I ask you one thing? Yes, please tell me. About us. Are you sure we've never met before? What's the meaning of that question? I have an eye contact with Dillian for quite some time. Just as I tried to find something from him, he also tried to find something from me. Is he doubting me? But there was no sign of that. Dillian, who lost his memory completely, expressed his feelings without hiding. There was no such thing as doubt. The low-sinking eyes were covered with a sense of guilt. Sense of guilt? No matter how much he lost his memory, Dillian won't have such a feeling. I guess something happened to my head because I couldn't sleep. Smirking on the inside, I nodded. Yes. That's all. That was all it had to be. I don't want to get involved anymore. Worried Dillian would try to hold me again, I escaped and left the room. I could feel a stinging gaze on the back of my head, but I didn't look back. Having escaped to the kitchen, I hit my head on the table and rolled my feet. You're crazy. Why did you do that? Idiot. As I banged my head on the table, I got up. Let's send him quickly. I must hurry up to let him go. And let's leave this village, this empire. Before Dillian regained his memory, I had to run as far away as possible. Before sending him go, he needs to eat. I chopped the washed onions. Tap 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 tap. Tears flowed because of its spicy air. Ouch, this onion is too spicy. Looking at the escaping small back, Dillian's gaze turned down. Why did I do that? Dillian slowly touched his index finger. The soft and warm feel seemed to still remain at his fingertips. Strangely, all of this felt familiar. Did this happen before? Crash. As he tried to recall his memory, Dillian touched his head in a dull pain that struck like a big wave. Crap, what on earth is that woman that bothers me so much? And what is this scent that fills the room? Dillian swallowed his breath in the sweet smell that lingered at the tip of his nose. Hey, owl. Nathan is my name. Instead of following Rhea, Nathan, who claimed to be under Dillian's surveillance, responded bluntly to his call. Nathan, I want to ask you one question. What are you curious about? Even though it didn't like Dillian, Nathan, who inherently loves and cares for humans, showed him the least kindness. What was the relationship between that woman and me? Ah, what relationship? I told you. You've never met before. I really want to believe it, but there are many doubts about it for a first-time meeting relationship. The surprised face with the doesn't know what to do attitude by my words about losing memory, her crying face, and the bitter smile on her mouth as if she is already giving up. And in conclusion, the voice that came out of the answer as I said that I forgot to meet her. I think I'm going to cry. It was a thin voice that was damp as if it were about to burst into tears. She treats me like a fool just because I lost memory. Chapter 4. Even a 7-year-old child will also notice. This is not a normal relationship. It was clear that the relationship was deep and persistent. Nathan clicked its tongue inside, by Dillian's sharp response. TSK, this man has a good hunch. Rhea, I don't know how much your lies will work. Even if the lies will soon be discovered, the truth could not be revealed now. How can I say that my precious child smashed your head in the back? I have nothing to say. Before Rhea herself opened her mouth, Nathan had no intention of talking about it first. Strict owl. Its mouth is heavy. But he couldn't step down. Because for Dillian, even a small clue is needed. I will change the question. What did I do to her? That time, a sad glare by the sharp eyes of the bird passed by. Nathan took a breath to calm the heat that rose to the top of its head. You jerk, in your eyes you are going to eat my healthy child. Going to say the word that rose to the end of its neck, but Nathan holds it. It was because Rhea didn't want it. Everything is for Rhea's sake. Nathan, the great guardian of Rhea, instead killing its anger, fiercely spit out its words. You did a terrible thing. So, what exactly is that? So, Rhea, that woman doesn't want to talk about that. But why? Because she can be blamed for doing something wrong? It's the same for hiding the relationship with that woman named Rhea. No way, there was really something going on. If it's really so, why hide it? If it's really a deep relationship, there was no reason to hide it. Is that something amazing to hide? People are inherently selfish. It's even more so when it comes to love. There's nothing beneficial for hiding it. Rhea Delis is hiding something else. Exactly what is it? Is she going to prey on me? Or that woman is the one who drove me to death? Or she almost killed me then pretending to help me? As soon as Dillian almost got the truth, Nathan, who had been keeping its mouth shut, warned. Let me tell you this one for sure. Nathan, who was looking up at Dillian, flew up and met his eyes level. The anger burned like an active volcano when the two eyes met. You have to beg Rhea and beg again. For anyone who hears, it seems Dillian himself is the one who was guilty. The one who drove someone to death is not her, but me? Or did I approach her with an impure heart? What the hell is going on? I'm going crazy and frustrated for not knowing anything. In the end, Dillian, who couldn't overcome the frustration and was cornered, grabbed Nathan with a strong force. Yug. This jerk. At the time he was about to hear the answer from the damned owl, Rhea came. With reddened eyes. Sorry for being late. Hurry, let's eat. Looking at the wet eyes, Dillian's hand loosened. Nathan screamed and pecked his head, but he didn't feel any pain. Dillian stared at the blank-faced Rhea, then turned up and fixed his head. There's no way a woman with that face is going to kill me. At the time when doubts about Rhea slowly faded. Tuke. Tears falling from Rhea's eyes. At that moment, the leftover suspicion disappeared cleanly. It's still like this. Rhea calmly wipes away her tears, surprised by that. Dillian closes his eyes. Even though it's something I don't know, it looked like I must have done something wrong. Yeah, I must be a jerk. Dillian's misunderstanding deepened. Wow, How can onions be this spicy? Isn't this a biochemical weapon? As I wiped away my falling tears and raised my head, I saw Nathan and Dillian, who hardened like stones. What are they doing? Why is Dillian looking at me with that kind of face, and why Nathan is tearing off Dillian's hair while he is looking like that? It was Nathan who came to its senses first in that strange situation. Rhea. Why crying? Is it because of that jerk? I will get that jerk on. No, it's nothing. I was going to say it was because of onions, but I glanced at Dillian and just blurted the end of my speech. I can't say it, because it's embarrassing. No matter how we were going to say farewell soon, it was shameful to say it was because of the onion. After pressing down my throbbing eyes to calm them down, I approached Dillian and held out the porridge. While giving eye signs lightly with the intention to quickly eat it, he didn't think about receiving it. Is he angry because it is late? When I peeked secretly, taking a hint of Dillian, his eyes suddenly became emotional. Ugh, it really is. But this man is really shameless. How late exactly am I? Complaints burst out inside my heart, but I didn't have the guts to speak it out. Stamping his feet while couldn't do this or that, then covering his face with his big hands, Dillian brought up an unexpected remark. I am sorry. Yes. What for? I just feel like I am in the wrong. I was dumbfounded by the sudden flood of apologies. But the one who was surprised was only me. Nathan is saying sure, it is, while nodding its head. After a while, he put down his hand and then he was facing me with a determined look. I will take responsibility. What for? Yeah. You have to take responsibility. What are you going to take responsibility for exactly? Please give me a chance to make up for it. What are you trying to make up for exactly? Frustrated by the conversation that I can't keep up with, I just give up thinking about it. It is enough for me if Sir Dillian can go home safely. Me too, want it to be like that, but as Miss Rhea can see, I didn't remember anything, so it's hard for me to go back right away. When he said he didn't know where his house was, I shut up my mouth. The treatment is over, so it's enough to ask him to get out of the house, but I am sorry. I am troubling you. Dang. That face. What am I going to do if you put that abandoned puppy-like face on me? Looking at his desperate face as if he would collapse at any moment, my heart kept feeling weak. No, snap out of it. Don't fall for the cover. Remember, the inside is a beast. I tried hard to turn my head. By the obvious rejection, Dillian spoke in a weak voice. And, it seems like it will be dangerous in this weather. What is wrong with the weather? I clearly saw the sun rising brightly in the morning. I opened the tightly closed window to see that. But it wasn't the warm sunshine that welcomed me. Whying? It was a cold snowstorm. Faced by the snowflakes, I hurriedly closed the window. My hands trembled. What this? The windows rattled by the swirling snowstorms. I don't want to trouble Miss Rhea, but you should take care of the precious life you saved, right? I must be shameless, but I will keep it for a while. I will do everything you ask me to do. You can do whatever you want. That's great. We're running out of firewood, so go and get some. I'm not talking with you. Nathan. You say people with divine power are loved by God. But what is this? What love? It was clear that God hated me. At the time I was looking with flustered eyes at the conversation between Nathan and Dillian. A large hand popped in front of me. I am looking forward to working with you. Dillian looked at me and bent his eyes beautifully. It's ruined. Ruined. I was stuck helplessly. With a time bomb that you don't know when its memory will come back. Chapter 2. I hate this cohabitation. Tap tap tap. An exciting sound of cutting resonates in the kitchen. As if riding the rhythm, Nathan's head moved. For whom you are cooking that hard? Who do you think for? Of course it's Dillian. I prepared breakfast by moving busily, shaking off completely available ingredients, non-available ingredients. You can't feed the noble Duke with shabby food. Somehow it's okay to struggle to make a good impression. Don't know what will happen, but if I take care of him well, maybe he will show mercy when he regains his memory. There's nothing that I can prepare, but please eat it. Dillion has no answer to my words. That means hurry up and eat it. He just stared at me with his arm folded. I asked carefully while wiping my cold hand on the apron. Is there something you feel is lacking? Of course, it's lacking to be compared to the meals of the nobility, but this was the best for now. And he didn't even remember anything. With the piercing gaze that seemed like it landed on my cheeks, I got cold sweat inside. Dillion asked me with a low and serious voice. Are you uncomfortable with me? Of course. How would I be comfortable? I, who wanted to shout it out, held back while forcing myself to pull up the corner of my lips. That is no way. You look uncomfortable. It is not. Your mouth is twitching. I pressed down the shaky mouth with my hand. It is because I have facial cramps. Ha. Without giving a small gap, Dillion with a cold shoulder sighed. People might think I am the king and Miss Rhea is my maid. King is right though. He is a man who has built a huge and independent force to keep the imperial family in check. While thinking like that on the inside, I shook my shoulder. I am not hungry. Growl. I was going to eat later, but I suddenly felt really hungry. I pulled a chair right away and sat on the opposite of Dillion. Senseless stomach. Senseless belly clock. I was going to eat separately in case I will get indigestion if we eat together. Apostrophe. The Duke, who lost his memory, was too gentlemanly. Do you always eat like this? Nathan, who was aiming for meat on the table, humph, blew its nose. No way. What reason is this brat who eats with just a piece of bread as everything in the world is annoying, preparing such a feast? At the horrific gaze that says it's because of you, Dillion nodded. And the way he stared at me is strange. It's because of me. No, this. I'm grateful for Miss Rhea's sincerity, but let's eat as usual next time, and it's better to decide who takes turns to prepare the meal. The trick to make a good impression must have been too obvious. My face is burning up. Who said I will always cook like this? It is because the patient must eat well and rest well to recover soon. That's why. I threatened to say that there was no soup for tomorrow, then stuck my face on the plate. Is that so? That's right. I thought you were trying to look good to me. Cough. As I hurriedly covered my mouth then raised my head, I saw his red eyes bent into half moon. Chapter 5. Crap. He really can see right through me. In order to change Dillion's mind, who has more wariness than others, you have to approach him secretly and carefully. I'm being too obvious. You want to save your life by that kind of trick? Don't be funny. He might say that while cutting my neck. Whatever I do, it's a beheaded ending. Ah, it's so hard to live. I thought I would live an ordinary life by possessing an extra, but the genre suddenly changed. Such a high difficulty to be the best person to survive. It's a joke though, but it seems it's the truth. Are you making fun of me? There's no way. I wouldn't do that to my benefactor. Dillion shook his shoulder pretending not to know. That's unexpected. Seems like he knows how to joke around. I thought he was a stiff and cold person. Thank you for the food then. Dillion ate the meal deliciously. Is it good? Yes, it is good. Not sure if it was just an empty word, but the plates that filled the table began to run out one by one. I'm glad he is eating well. As I was relieved for a while. You don't have to. As I owe you, I can't be the one who just receives. Dillion, who pushed me gently but firmly, put his hand on the icy cold water. Oh, it's cold. Yes. So for the dishes let me finish it quickly. Clatter, clatter. The sound of the dish colliding was loud. Tuke, tuke, the sound of water dripping turned my face white. I let Dillion Sinise do the dishes. I'm dead now. I didn't make him do that, but it's my sin that I couldn't stop him. Right now, I want to grab Dillion's legs and hang on to it. Am I doing well? Yes. Of course. There's nothing Sir Dillion can't do. It's a lie. It's completely a red lie. The same as lying through one's teeth means that to say something completely untrue. You're so terrible. The oil on the plate hasn't gone out at all. You have to wash out oil with hot water. I swallowed the words that filled my throat and raised my thumb to him. Isn't praises can even make the whale dance? A South Korean saying means that no one is immune to flattery. Bombarded by my endless compliments as if I had a motor on, the corner of Dillian's lips began to draw a subtle line. It's a relief. I was worried if I only showed you my embarrassing side. Looking at the apron with a bear character hanging on Dillian's chest, the corner of my lips flinched. Is he not embarrassed wearing that brown bear character apron? No way. You are so cool though. The eyes that meet the bear squinted. Dear you. Cheer up. Crap. It's so hard to survive. Another day has come. I aged overnight, followed Dillian who moved busily in the back. His wide back moved without resting. What should I do next? Dillian asked while rolling up his sleeves from his 2 arms. I hurriedly pulled down his arms. It's okay. You must take a rest. Should I wash the dishes like yesterday? You can't, you really can't. I stopped Dillian who was about to go to the kitchen and pushed his back. I will do everything you ask me to do. While being indebted for staying in my house, Dillian who says he will work hard, said the truth. Yesterday morning, Dillian began to touch this and that in the house as if he had gained confidence after washing the dishes. And I decline him for doing housekeeping one by one. Didn't he break the plate while washing the dishes, break the broom, even burst the pillow while organizing the bedding? The problem was because of his overflowing power. The plate that broke yesterday was my favorite. Overnight, how many tears of blood flowed from my eyes for how much damage Dillian had made. Clank. My eyes distorted hearing the sharp noise. Again, what is it this time? As I turned around with a sigh, Dillian quickly hid his hand behind. Then with such a sly face, he looked at me as if asking what happened. Just like a sneaky snake. As I wiped my wet hands on the apron then approached him, Dillian hurriedly moved his feet. It was a move to cover up the evidence. Instead of getting angry, I quickly rushed to him, then his eyes opened wide. Sir Dillian, I heard a loud noise, are you okay? About that? Oh my. Did you hurt your hand? Dillian grudgingly held out his hidden hands to the front. The cup handle, dangling on Dillian's hand. I failed to control my power. He squinted his eyes as he was embarrassed. When I saw the cup break miserably, I sighed deep inside. Let's hold it. Hold it. There's no way the young master has done any kind of housework. If you're patient 3 times, you can prevent a murder. A South Korean saying means that if you endure it at times like that, you can overcome any difficult situation. I pulled the cup handle out of Dillian's hand with a face full of worries. Oh, you didn't get hurt. That's a relief. It could have been a big trouble. I reprimanded him as I pretending to be worried. If I didn't do this, I felt like I was going to die. Sir Dillian. It's dangerous here, so please go there and rest. But Dillian didn't even listen, my words just went in one ear and out the other. Dillian, who was bending along with me, reached for a piece of glass. I'm the one who will clean it up. What do you mean you will do that? As I was choking up at the moment, I accidentally hit the back of Dillian's hand. Ugh. Crazy. I hit him quite hard, so the slapping sound was really loud. Surprised, I quickly pulled my hand. Miss Rhea, your hand is quite spicy. In South Korea you say it when someone can hit people so hard with her or his palm. Then don't touch it recklessly. What if you hurt your hand? Isn't it the same for Miss Rhea? You touch it with your bare hands too. Dillian's eyebrows wriggled to express his dissatisfaction. It's different. What's the difference? Isn't it I'm a citizen whose liver is the size of a bean, and you're a scary man with no blood or tears. It means easily being scared of something. Unlike me, your hand is so beauty. I blurred the end of my speech. I couldn't say it was pretty when his hand was full of rough scars. It is a precious hand. As I spluttered my words, Dillian looked at me with strange eyes at what I said. If you are really worried, can you please hurry up and bring me a broom? As I was thinking like that, I pushed Dillian away with all my might. I asked Dillian, who raised his body unwillingly with a firm attitude. Don't touch the glass yet. Please wait for me. Yes, please hurry up and come back. At the distant footsteps, I sighed. I need to buy a cup again. Just how many new kitchen utensils do I need to buy? I gathered many pieces of grumbling on the inside, then Nathan approached me. That jerk is such a troubling jerk. Nathan. I'm stressed, and I feel like dying. It's only been 3 days, but I felt like there's a hole in my stomach. Experiencing unpleasant feelings. We need to turn that jerk's eyes away. How? What if you throw the books in the warehouse to him? He has been asking this and that since yesterday. Seems like he'll be quiet if you throw him books. This is it. I became a question bot for Dillian, who got free time. He asked me questions endlessly. From the most basic to personal information that is difficult to answer. If this continues, I might die, drowned by the questions he poured out. Nathan, you are really my guardian. I hugged Nathan and kissed its head again and again. Duh, you know how old I am, so shameful. Even if it says that, Nathan, whose feelings are good, bent its amber eyes like a crescent moon. I thought it was just a brat, but now I see it, it looked like it was a pervert owl. At the unfamiliar sound that far away, as he tilted his head, Dillian appeared looking at Nathan's face, which was loosened, then he lost face. As he can no longer see it, with his rotten face he told how he felt. That's gross. How can you look so ugly? What? Miss Rhea, please go away from it. That's not a guardian, it is a pervert. This ungrateful bastard. It has a dirty temper too. Rhea. Don't stop me. Today I'm going to make a hole in that jerk's head. Yup, I won't stop you. As I answered back inside, I brought the broom that Dillian threw, then swept away the pieces of the glass. After cleaning, I left the two fighting alone and headed straight to the warehouse. Cough. Cough. A cough burst out from the dust blowing in the air. I covered my mouth and shook my hand, but the more I did, the more dust blew. Fire, found it. When I took out a bundle of books that were stuck in the corner, I moved them to the house. When I struggled to open the back door to enter the house, Nathan flew in. Rhea. Did you bring this heavy thing alone? Why didn't you call me? If you bring this, your wings will break. Dillian. Don't just look. Because of someone, Rhea is having a hard time. Despite the loud shouting in his ear, Dillian didn't blink an eye. What is this? It's books. Because Sir Dillian is curious about many things. I'm not good at teaching, so it might be better to read books. Dillian easily held the bundle of books I had brought in one hand, then at the cold wind he closed the door. With sweat coming from my forehead, I asked carefully. Sir Dillian, you still remember Imperial language, right? It's true that I have a memory impairment, but I didn't become an idiot. That's a relief. If I had been told to teach him from the Imperial language, I would have given up and thrown it away. There's a lot. As he said, there's so many and diverse books. From today, don't bother Rhea, just read the book. Be quiet, huh? The pervert who has a bad temper even has so much to talk about. Rhea, I really hate him. It's a relief, we're in sync at this time. I've been feeling this since earlier, the two of them really had a good chemistry. In a bad way. Dillian, who got on Nathan's nerves, sat on the sofa and opened the book to see if he liked it. It didn't take long for him to drown by the book. I will continue to clean up then. You can read it. Absorbed into reading, Dillian didn't even listen to my words. It's better like that. I opened the back door, then headed to the greenhouse. A greenhouse about 356 square feet. This place is my workplace as well as my rest place, this place filled with medicinal plants, flowers, herbs, and other plants. Without Dillian, as I came to this place for the sake of myself, I finally relaxed. Ah, I can live now. With herbs and flowers scents mixed together, it's melting my tired body. Then should I work now? I looked at every corner of the greenhouse, and I looked out for the dead or slow-growth herbs, then transferred my divine power on it. Divine power that, like the water of life, absorbed by the plants and slowly began to regain life. At that time, the golden light butterflies appeared, then my eyes curved. Hi. It's been a long time. As if responding to my greeting, the butterflies hovered around me,